Hello everyone and welcome to yet another fully operational video cast. We are joined today by Spike and Anton from the No Disintegrations podcast. Hi chaps.
Hello.
Hi.
Hiya.
And this is the first in a new segment. Spike, take it away.
Yeah, so those of you who've been listening to the No Disintegrations podcast, you'll realise that we've got the mission briefing section. Where we, try and update you on things about the game or the games, and this is an opportunity for us to go a little bit more in depth with some stuff that's coming out. So Between the Shadows, for example, perfect example for us to dive into those cards and give you a little bit more insight into what we think about them.
Yeah, so we're going to be covering the Darkside releases from the new Between the Shadows deluxe expansion. It's Darth Spike over there. So Anton, I believe, is going to kick us off with the very first pod for Scum.
Yeah, and that pod is No Disintegrations. Wasn't it great that FFG named a set after us?
As you wish.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, so this is a Scum, it's a 5-1, and its text reads: damage dealt by a bounty hunter or mercenary unit you control cannot be reassigned by the protect keyword.
Very nice.
Very nice indeed. With the amount of protect going around at the moment.
Especially on those Jedi pods, right?
Yeah, that's insane. It's insane. And the protect in the Jedi, it's a pod that they want to run. So you're seeing quite a lot of it at the moment as well. It's very good.
We follow that up with a big main. It's the Boba Fett. He's a 4-cost, 3 health, 3 force pips. Got a nice spread of icons: Black Blast, Black Blaster, White Blast, White Blaster. But his great reaction is, after this unit resolves a strike, remove all focus tokens from this unit, limit once per phase.
So is this the Boba Fett you would run?
Yeah. in a word, for me, yeah, he's a beast compared to. I mean, the capture reaction on the original Fett is tasty, but this one's elite as well. So can't forget that elite means he's not going to get tactics down too much, which is good. Especially with his reaction, you don't want to have him tactics down. You want him available to be striking and handing out the hurts. But yeah. Spike, how about you? Same question back at you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I like this card. It seems well balanced in terms of cost. I like the 4 cost seems right for those 3 force pips, the reaction, plus a nice spread of icons there. I think we would have liked to see a tactics perhaps, but I don't think it needs it. And 3 health as well. So I think he's a fair price, and it's nice to be able to run Bobber in your deck. So I'll definitely be giving him a go.
Tactics and that reaction could have been overkill, maybe.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, we were saying earlier that you can do 5 damage to an objective. If that's unopposed, you can swing with them twice, and you've got 5 damage on an objective, enough to destroy it. Or alternatively, put him to the force. The 3 force pips is going to be really useful. Swing with him, resolve the strike, and then refresh. You're still holding on to the force with those 3 force pips. So yeah. I think there's a lot of versatility there, and he just feels like a really fair sort of character to me.
We follow that up with a Freelance Hunter. It's a 2-cost, 2 health, neutral card, 1 force pip, 1 black blast, and 1 white blaster. Mercenary and bounty hunter traded, but nothing else. But nice 2-cost unit that all Darkside decks like these days.
Yeah, seems good. I like the black blast damage. 2 cost, 2 health. Compared to some of the other Scum units, I think it's a little expensive now that we're getting into really cheap Scum units that have negative effects. There are negative triggers about them, like the Scum, for example, the Galactic Scum, or the new Headhunters, for example. But again, it seems fair. I can't argue with 2 cost for those icons and those traits. And we've seen a little bit of that already with the Bounty Hunter and Mercenary traits. Getting to remove double focus tokens already. I think we're going to see a lot more from this set of Bounty Hunter and Mercenary triggers. So I think it's a good card to have in the pod.
Yeah, it synergizes well with all the other stuff that, as you say, triggers off the keywords that Scum are seeming to kind of start stacking up. And yeah, 2 cost, it's a bit more expensive than your Galactic Scum and things, but it's kind of right in the middle of the road. with your Darkside apprentices and things like that. So it's nice to see. And the black objective damage, that's the one that you're really worried about. So it's nice that that's black and not white.
Do you think we're going to be starting to see a bit more aggressive cards from Scum coming through?
I think that's one of the main things they've been missing recently. So yeah, I certainly hope so. This is a good start to that. So Scum getting a bit more objective damage means that they can actually, because I remember a phase 6 months, a year ago where they just timed a game out because they could hold the force and stop losing the game. The light side wasn't winning, but they didn't have the objective damage to close the game out. So hopefully that's starting to change.
Yeah, I'd like to see some aggressive pressure now put on the light side. I think they've had their little bit of time now of just holding the force and forcing out the game. But now we want the dark side to put the pressure back on. Right, so we follow the next card up with a nice enhancement. It's the Flamethrower. It's a 2-cost, 2-force pip, and you can enhance a friendly character or droid unit, and the reaction is, after enhanced unit is focused to strike, deal 1 damage to each participating enemy unit.
Tasty.
Yeah.
Expensive. It's 2. But it does have 2 edge icons if you do want to throw it into an edge battle. But that will go on pretty much any unit that you've got in your deck, character or droid.
I think a lot of people have pointed out that the part with the droid on, so you can stick it on IG-88.
Yeah.
So.
Or the old school, wasn't there the old school assassin droid as well that can just keep striking, and when it kills a unit, refreshes, right?
Yeah, so you can just kill everything on their board.
Just go flamethrower everything out of the way. Just torch it, do it.
Love it. And the artwork on that is great. I mean, obviously they kind of put it in this set thinking you'll put it on Bobber, but I think it'll find a use on pretty much any character you want to shove it on, really.
Yeah, and it's 2 force pips, so as well, it's it's not even if you don't want to use it, you're still going to find use for it in your hand.
Yep.
I was going to ask actually, Mandalorian armor, because we haven't that was in the old Boba set. I'm right in thinking that the Mandalorian armor card reads that if you put this card on Boba Fett, he gets targeted strike. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah, plus 3 health and targeted strike. So go on this new version of Boba as well.
So you can have Boba with armor and flamethrower, and it would be pretty strong.
Yep. And hold out blasters.
although that's 4 of your objectives gone on just pimping out Boba, but I'd love to see that.
Challenge accepted. See you at Store Championships.
Right, next card probably needs no explanation. It's prize possession. It's your usual resource card. So I'll move straight on to the next one, and it is an event card. Lovely art on this, Entangled. And it's an interrupt event. When an opponent chooses a unit to strike, he must choose a different eligible unit to strike instead if able. Then draw 1 card.
Yeah, this is. I rewatched Return of the Jedi the other night actually, so I love this artwork, and it's like Boba Fett, and Han just smashes into him, and he fires off and dies in the Sarlacc pit.
Or does he?
Yeah. Or does he? Is the question. If you've seen the Robot Chicken, you'll work out what happens to him next. This interests me a lot because this isn't the only set that it comes in, and when an opponent chooses a unit to strike, he must choose a different eligible unit to strike instead, if able, then draw 1 card.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. It's unpredictable though. It's kind of. I can't really think of situations where it would be super beneficial.
I know I've used this. This is to protect Boba Fett, actually. You need both to go in with Boba Fett and someone else. When they try and tactics Boba down, you say, no, you're going to hit this other guy and tactics him down. Now Boba's going to hit you.
But, okay, and you can apply that to the tactics, can you? Because you can still strike a different unit, but you place the tactics where you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think as I'm saying, so let's the light side attack with, let's say, Obi-Wan with a boatload of tactics.
Yeah.
And just a Jedi Padawan type character. Wins the Force, wins the edge battle, goes to strike with Obi-Wan, and you play this card and go, no, you're not striking with Obi-Wan, you'll strike with the crappy Jedi first. So that doesn't tactics Boba down.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So
yeah.
I read that wrong then.
So you force them to... So Obi-Wan will still be in the fight, but he won't strike
Ah,
first.
okay, that's complicated because I read it the same way as Anton read it. I read it as in when you attack with Obi-Wan, you attack not Boba, but let's say you had Boba and I don't know, like a I don't know, Royal Guard or something. Then you would have, but Obi-Wan would be forced to strike the Royal Guard first, not
Ah,
Boba. So
yes.
I read it like that.
True, actually, because it doesn't say
When an
strike.
opponent chooses a unit to strike, he must choose a different eligible unit to strike instead, if able. So, what you see what I mean? Is he choosing a different eligible to strike at, or is he using a different unit to strike with?
I think it's strike with, because when you strike, you are, because strike is placing the focus on your unit, and then you just allocate the damage icons.
Okay.
So I don't think putting a tactics icon on someone or putting a damage on someone is striking them. I think
Okay.
forcing a unit to activate its combat icons is striking. I think.
Okay. And you draw the card.
And you draw the card. So I think you say, I don't want you to strike with Obi-Wan. You strike with the crappy thing first.
And I'll take a card. Thank you very much.
And I'll draw a card. So yeah, it might be worth just checking that. Don't have.
Yeah, I think that might confuse a few people. I mean, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, I admit, but that could confuse some people. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let's find out.
And I think key as well. It's a 0-cost card, so you can come out of nowhere.
Mhm.
And 2, even if you don't want to use it for its ability, you can just use it to cycle through your deck.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll draw another card. Hopefully, it's got more than one force pip, and that'll help me out in a future edge battle, maybe.
But all in all, I think a good set. I think it's a good. There's nothing in it that's really like, wow, this is super OP. There's nothing in it that's like, oh, this is weak. For me, it's a really fair, good, solid objective set. Would you agree with that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Cool.
yeah, I would. It's great. It's got a nice objective, a main character that's decent, a support character that's nice, a weapon, a resource, and an event. That's kind of your golden mix. That's what you want in your deck. A good mix of. So happy with that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of Boba Fett's moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. So the next set is quite an interesting one. A lot of people have been waiting for this chap to show up in the game. This is Masterful Manipulation. It's a 4/2 scum objective. So yeah, Spike's face says it all there, I think.
You got to be careful with those 4/2s.
Yeah, so it's
As the Darkside.
It's Coruscant rated, and it's scum and villainy only. So you can't. Coruscant would have gone quite nicely with a Sith deck, but no. Reaction: after your opponent's turn ends, shuffle this objective back into your objective deck to draw a card. That's new. That's new. Just cycling through your own objectives. Anton, what are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I love the idea of as long as you're able to block this, the light side can try and take it out, and if you just prevent them from it, then at the end of their turn, I say, "Yep, I'm going to tidy that one away and get another one out." I just like that type of reaction.
Yeah, it's nice, and also the fact that there's 2 resources.
Yeah,
Play
you
it,
use
2
them.
resources. At the end of their turn, shuffle it. You just had a free resource.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
The fact that Scum and Villainy. So I was interested about Coruscant. Don't we have the Heart of the Empire? Isn't that a defend Coruscant? The Star Destroyers.
I think that's Sith only as well.
That's
Yeah.
totally. That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, it would have been could have been potentially a nice mix there.
And there's plenty of
Too
other Sith Coruscant stuff, but
Yeah.
I think the only one with Protect in it is that one. So
Interesting.
card number 2, moving on, is Prince Xizor. Hopefully I've said that right. He's a 5-cost unique, 3 health, 3 force pips, and he's got a tasty icon mix. So he's got a black unit objective and a tactics, so he can do everything. He's got a white unit objective and objective damage. White unit and a white tactics.
Yeah.
He's a character Black Sun traded, which is new and shiny and might be relevant later on. He's elite, so it doesn't stop. And reaction: after an objective leaves play, capture 1 card at random from each opponent's hand. So first off, that triggers nicely with the objective.
Yeah.
Comes in, and 2, each opponent's. So that's in 2v2. That's powerful.
That is.
That's right.
He is a very he's expensive, but he is a very strong character for sure. the two tactics there, you already put him up with someone like Jabba or someone, he's going to be very good at control. I can see that. Plus a little bit of blast damage if he needs it, but I love the reaction. Really, really nice, and it's going to make your opponent really think about when he's destroying those objectives, because I mean, you don't want him taking cards from you.
He's also got to be careful his own objectives as well. The likes of Trust Me in the days of like, oh, I'll sacrifice Trust Me to do some wonderful things. Or suddenly now I'm going to start capturing cards. It's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah. And 3 force pips.
Yeah, so he can hold that force, because I wouldn't be chucking this guy into the edge battle unless I absolutely had to. But,
did just find interesting just reading the flavor text about how he tried to get revenge against Darth Vader. Do you think it would be unwise to mix Darth Vader in with this set?
Ooh, never cross the streams. Never cross the streams, Anton.
But it's an interesting... he is Scum and Villainy only, so you'd have to start Scum and then go 6 or 7 or 8 Sith pods. So he could quite easily replace the Palpy in terms of the tactics. So yeah, it's a good call. Wouldn't be surprised, Anton. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think he's a bit cheaper. He's got that better spread of maybe icons than Palpy. Yes. So yeah, maybe.
But no force lightnings in the pod, so there's one benefit.
Well, not yet. We're not finished. We don't know yet. We don't know. So card 3, moving on. I actually, spoiler alert, I like this one quite a lot. It's a 2 cost Black Sun Headhunter. It's a 1 force pip and 4 health for a 2 cost unit. Oh my lord! It's 1 black unit damage, 1 black objective damage, and a white objective damage as well. So a good mix of icons for 2 cost. It's a vehicle, it's a fighter, a Black Sun mercenary. It has shielding, so for 2 cost something is going a little bit miss here. And then here it is, forced reaction. After your deployment phase begins, spend 1 scum resource, it has to be scum, or destroy this unit. So it's kind of an upkeep mechanic. It's cheap to come out on the board, but it costs you turn after turn.
I love the way that they're going with I can see I can see what they're doing here. They're like the Galactic Scum, for example, 1 cost, but they've got a lot of health. They got really nice, they got that tactics icons. They're great cards, but if you lose the force struggle, they take a damage, right? So I think that that you can get cards out quickly, it seems, with Scum, but you might not keep them at the end. And I love the fact that, especially as they're Black Sun, that you have to pay for them. They're headhunters, they're mercenaries, so you got to pay. If you can't pay, they're off. They've gone somewhere else. I really like that.
Yeah, I love it. It's very thematic. It really is. I love it. Anton?
I think with the shielding and the health, you get that out, and then as soon as you've got some backup of a big unit, like maybe Boba Fett, you go in this Black Sun Headhunter. Somewhat, you're going to try and force people to block it, try and take it out. The health isn't going to do, so I'm going to have to go in there with their tactics. So they either block that or they block Boba. So you've got some sort of like diversionary type unit here that you can say, I'm going to throw him in. Also, being a Black Sun mercenary fighter, there's so many different pods that can react with.
Yeah.
Can be very useful.
I think you're right. The shield going in with another unit, say Boba, the shielding, being able to put that on Boba, if you think, because there's nothing really is going to be able to one-shot the Headhunter at 4 health.
Yeah.
So it only really needs the shielding to protect against tactics. And if you're worried about tactics, I'd be worried about tactics on Boba more than this. So I like it.
This set is looking pretty strong so far.
Tasty. For 2 health, I'd happily bring this out knowing that I wouldn't be able to pay for it next turn.
Sure, free shielding that turn, free 2 damage, free 2 objective damage minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But moving on to the next card, Deck Collector. It's a 2 cost, 1 force pip, 2 health. It's got 1 black unit damage. It generates a resource, so it helps you pay for your mercenaries.
Yeah, that's the first deck collector I ever found that actually pays back.
Yeah, yeah, with interest. Nice. It's a character, and it's Black Sun traded as well, in case that matters for future enhancements and whatnot. But great little card. It's a 1 resource generator. Yeah, it doesn't pay itself off straight away, but unlike most other resource units, it can do some damage.
Yeah,
it's great.
Very happy with that.
Moving on to the next one, Anton, I'll be looking for your thoughts on this. It's a 1 cost Scum event. It's Shadows of the Empire. I love that artwork. I hope that makes it onto a playmat at some point. It's 2 force pips, and it says play only during your turn. Action: place a target enemy objective at the bottom of its owner's objective deck. Anton, go.
This just changes so much. Goodbye, Sleuth Scouts with your 1 damage for every smuggler, or how that. I've been on the bane of that. Oh, there's so many light side objects as you want to get rid of. May the Force be with you. Yes, send that down to the bottom, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a really good event.
Like the only
Dare
one.
you ever?
Oh, the only one.
Dare you ever?
Oh no, go on.
Dare you ever use the 2 force pips for an edge battle for this card?
Yeah, it's with Scum, with like say the mercenary fighters and the deck collectors. They've got a lot of ways of generating and having that resource open. So for me, the only light set objective this doesn't deal with is trust me. Yeah. But even then, it's one cost to put 2 damage on trust me, or they lose trust me.
Yep.
So it's beautiful. I love it. And the final card is a new fate card. I love the fate card mechanic. This one is a fate 4, so it triggers pretty early on in the list of things. It's the Prince's Scheme. If you control a participating unique Scum unit, so that's a pretty big requirement, take 1 non-fate card from your opponent's edge stack and place it into your edge stack for this edge battle. And it's 1 force pip. It's
Great.
Pretty tasty.
Thank you. Yoda's just defected to Black Sun. Thank you very much.
Yeah, yoink, 5 icons. It's I love it. I mean, that doesn't feel to me like every other fate card we've had, and I guess we'll speak to this when we do the light side video as well. Heat of Battle and Target of Opportunity. They feel like both sides should have access to them.
Mm-hmm.
This one is the Prince's Scheme. So and obviously it only triggers on a unique Scum unit, so light side aren't going to get this. They might have their own equivalent with a Jedi one or something, but it's the first time. Is it the first time we've seen like a faction specific edge card? Yes,
it is.
So that's an interesting bit of design that FFG's chosen to go down.
And like we said in the podcast, does this type of card drive you to take a mono Scum? Just to make sure you can get the best use out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a pretty hefty restriction if you're, like say, if you are starting Scum and then going and having 6 or 7 Sith pods. It's a fake card that you might not get any use out of. So yeah, it's a good call, Anton, actually.
Yeah, and we'd sort of mentioned that on the podcast, I think, as well last time. We were saying that we sort of felt FFG might be sort of trying to steer a little bit towards mono decks, but very subtly. And this for me is another perfect example of that. So, cool.
So moving on, next set.
We have All Out Brawl, and we've got a Trandoshan. Looks like a Trandoshan and a Rodian.
Yep.
I don't fancy the Rodian's odds, I'll be honest with you, unless he's got a holdout blaster in his left hand. So it's a 5/1. It's Corellia traded, and each unit gains a black blaster damage, which, interestingly enough, I know because I played Greedo's pod a lot, is the reverse of Greedo's pod, which is units attacking this objective lose blaster damage. Not that probably means anything, but I thought I'd just mention that. So yeah, a 5/1, just fine objective. Anything to say on that, guys?
It's a double-edged sword, though, isn't it? No, because this is each unit, so that's both sides of the table.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. And it's always, it seems, while this objective's out, right? It's not when someone's attacking the objective, or just everyone just gets a little bit more dangerous.
Yeah, it's always.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting double-edged sword. See how it plays out. The next card in the set is Zeka Thine, who's a 4-cost Black Sun character, 1 force pip, 2 black blaster damage, a black tactics, and a white blaster damage, and 3 health, and a forced interrupt. That's rather interesting, very interesting, I might say, because I can think of a lot of great uses for this. When this unit is destroyed, destroy each other unit in play. So Zekathine's sort of walking to the all-out brawl with a thermal detonator, it seems.
Yep.
And yeah, this card's great. Andy, what do you think?
It's one of those things that really messes with the maths when you're trying to decide whether you want to attack. It's like, is he going to block with Zeka? And if he is, I'm going to end up killing him, and then that means my entire light side board is gone.
Which is always bad for the light side board. As the light side, you never want to lose your build up curve of attackers.
Yeah, but conversely as well, it's a bit like the previous card, the objective. This is a double-edged sword as well. So if you can get the light side to lose their board when they're attacking you, then it's open and you can swing back. But if you go in for an attack with Zeka and he dies on your turn as the dark side, you've got nothing up to block.
Yeah, I think Zeka's a defensive card. I think he's a I think looking at his, he's got 2, potentially 3. He's got enough to take out a unit. He's also got that tactics to shut down a unit, and he's got the fail safe there, the dead man's hand, so to speak, of clearing the board. Especially, you want to defend with him first. You want to if your opponent's got like Luke, Yoda, Falcon, whatever, and is going to start attacking, defend with Zeka first for sure.
Yeah.
And try and dissuade your opponent from attack. Try and remove everything else from his attack. Anton, what do you think? I mean, it's a bit of a game changer.
Yeah, if you're doing that, would you feel you would want to lose the edge battle then in that case, so that they hit you first? To try and if the maths works out right.
I think
I don't want him tacticsing. I don't want him being I don't want him to be tactics, and again, it comes to the entangled card in Bob's set as well. That there's options there. You've got tricks to help, steer the game in the way that you want it to. I don't know.
Another card this then works with could be the Prince's Scheme. If you're going in with Zeka, you're going to make the person believe I want to lose the edge battle. You just stick the one card in, then that brings in, well, yeah, I'm going to grab your card and actually hit you back instead. So you can play it both ways.
Absolutely.
It's a versatile card, but like you say, it's got all these extra little mind. But you're going to play mind games with the opponent.
Yeah, he's only got 1 force pip, so he's not holding the force, which is probably something you'd want from a defensive character. Who's just going to sit there, not be tactics down. So there is a downside to it.
I mean, look at the flavor text. It says he's a violent, vicious, psychotic sociopath. So. Yeah,
he's not.
Sums it up pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna be playing Zeka. I mean, he looks fantastic.
I love the art on it as well. The colours, lovely purples. It's cool.
And then the next card is another deck collector. So pretty cool. Another deck collector in there. Happy with that. The next card is Armed to the Teeth. So I really like this card. I love the art on this card as well. It's a 0 cost event, 2 force pips, Armed to the Teeth. After a friendly unit is focused to strike, change each of its combat icons to a black blaster until the end of the engagement. I like that. I think that it's obviously situational. Those 2 force pips are going to come in useful in the edge stack more than I think the actual card will, but it will guarantee you it could guarantee you Luke off the board, or it could guarantee you a shielded up Jedi character off the board. If you just need those extra blaster damage to get through, switch the Headhunter, for example, switching those 2 objective damage to 2 blaster icons. You've now got a 3 blaster card with shielding. I like that.
Yeah.
Would you agree, Anton?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so many like big guys with. I'm trying to think of all the units with so many different icons that you could just whack this on and it could, take anyone out.
Andy?
I think I really love it with the combo unit above, where we said you kind of go into an edge battle and you're happy to lose it and let the light side win, and then all of a sudden your unit that didn't have any icons enabled suddenly has them all black, non-edge dependent.
Yeah, because it'll switch those edge ones around as well, which is lovely.
Yeah, and it's 0 cost. So again, another surprise that you can't look at the resources they've got open and try and guess what they're doing. It comes out of nowhere.
Absolutely, and talk about coming out of nowhere. It is the next card, which is Entangled again. So I love the fact that we're seeing some through line with the cards in the set. So everything's not just a one-off. we've already talked about Entangled, but again, we can see some more uses. We've already talked about them with Zeka. I hope as we go through the cards, we're going to see more and more uses for this Entangled card and ways to play it. So people watching the video, I'm sure those creative juices are flowing. Think of existing cards, for example, or some of the new cards from the set and how you'd use Entangled with it. Anything else to say on Entangled, or shall I move on to the last card?
I've covered it, and really, it's a great. We need to get the clarification on how exactly it works, but yeah.
Yes, cool. And the last card is a good old trusty Heat of Battle, which again works so nicely with the other cards, with Arm to the Teeth, with that all-out brawl. This is a dangerous set. This is a really thematic, dangerous, unit-killing set, and I love that. Heat of Battle is always a great force card. Anton used it to fantastic effect back the Store Championships at Darksphere. I think that 2 force pips, deal an extra damage to a participating unit. Lovely.
The only other thing I've got to say is, you think FFG's got something against Rhodians? Every Rhodian is in a perilous situation.
Yeah, they never got much love anywhere, really, did they? They were always the smirky ones hiding in the back.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I think in the set in general, I cannot wait to try it out next week. I think it's a lovely set. It's a dangerous set, and it's one I'm really looking forward to playing.
Yeah, I instantly go towards splashing this in an Imperial Trooper deck and just swarm troopers out onto the board, and they're all doing so much unit damage. Good luck getting past them. So, Anton, I think you're up next.
Yep, it's the best that critics can buy. It's a
Best
5/1,
critics can buy.
and it's got a really nice is it no? It's not an action reaction. It's just each damaged enemy vehicle unit cannot trigger its abilities. I've been reading the forums on this, and there's quite a lot of talk about, because it has the word trigger its abilities, so that counts for interrupts, reactions, actions. I have to try and remember what else it said, whether it actually counts for shielding and protect and stuff like that.
Keywords.
As well, because I think they're static abilities as well.
Yeah.
Or they keywords. So, yeah, this one will take you a little time to get your head around, but I think once you get if you go on the forums and read, there's some very bright people out there who are good with the rules. They've got this one down. So, but yeah, great against. You think of this card, and you think of sleuth scouts and how we've been all haunted by them. So, I think and the art on this is really lovely as well. What do you guys think?
I like the fact that the art's amazing. But I like the fact that it's not a double-edged sword. It's each damaged enemy vehicle units, so you can happily run a vehicle deck yourself if you wanted to, and not be bothered about it. It's tasty.
In some ways, it's good like that. But I was thinking that if it was an enemy vehicle, then your headhunters would love that as well.
Yeah, but it's an instant.
That'd be too OP.
Straight away, it's an answer to a problem that most Darksiders had since the dawn of time. It's an answer to the Falcon. Put some damage on it, and it's not bouncing. It's got to stay in that engagement. So that's nice to see some more answers to that particular problem.
Right. The next card is the Virago. I've seen this ship in the X-Wing game in the previews. Oh, it looks wonderful. It's a 3 cost, 3 health, 3 force pip. That's good for a vehicle. 1 black blast, 1 black blaster, and 1 white blast. And it's a vehicle fighter in Black Sun. And the action is pay 1 scum and villainy resource to have a target enemy unit lose a keyword until the end of the phase. Then this unit gains that keyword until the end of the phase.
So what keywords can you think of that you'd want to steal from someone?
Target strike.
Yoink!
Protect.
Yeah.
Shielding.
Yeah. Edge. Now here's an interesting one that
Edge.
We were talking with the guys from Flip the Force, so Matt and TGO. Edge, I'm sure they'll come back and errata it, but as it stands, I think edge is the keyword. So you'll steal the word edge, but then the number after it you don't steal. But you need the number for it to be useful. So I'm sure.
What? Really?
Yeah. So as it's written, it's a bit shady, but I'm sure as it's intended, you could, if something has edge 2, you steal edge 2.
Okay.
But we're just waiting on an official response on that one. But yeah, edge, if you can steal it. Shielding, targeted strikes, one I didn't think about, Anton, but that's tasty.
Good ship, and I love the fact it's Prince Zizor's ship as well, so fits nicely. The last time we had the Edge of Darkness box, we got Bobber, and then we got the Slave 1 pod. Now we've got Zizor and his ship as well, so I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. You have to pay a resource for it though, so it's not cheap.
Yeah,
Never is with the Black Sun.
Yeah, but I've played Spike so many times, and he just owned me on resources. Times I've played him, so I don't think Scum have issues with resources.
It's because he's got debt collectors that pay him interest.
Absolutely. I scratch out the 1, I put a 3 in there, and it really changes the game.
Right. The next card is another repeat card. It's the Black Sun Headhunter. Can't get enough of this card. I don't think it synergizes well with this set.
Lovely.
Yep. So I'll move on to the next one. It's an event card. It's called Rise of the Black Sun. It's a 1-cost event, 1 force pip, and the action is remove 1 focus token from a target Black Sun unit.
Lovely.
That is quite powerful.
Lovely. 1 cost, and Zizor can attack again, for example.
Yep.
Zizor, the Headhunters, Virago. With the amount of Black Sun units we're getting in this set, there's so many targets that this can now apply to. Even Zeka. You and Zeka go on a mad spree.
Yeah.
This is the year of the Black Sun.
It seems to be, doesn't it? Yeah. It's fair. At least it's you have to pay for it. I mean, we've seen in the Jedi preview we did some months back, Anton, there was a focus manipulation event that was free, which was bonkers. So at least this one you've got to pay for. But even then, at 1 cost, it's still great.
It's cheap as chips.
Yep.
Can't get. Yeah.
Right. Next card is Warning Shot. It's another great event. It's a 0 cost, 1 force pip, and it's deal 1 damage to a target enemy vehicle unit. Limit once per turn. Reason why I think this is great is because it's perfect with the objective. Go into a battle. I'm just going to stick an instant damage on you. I don't have to worry about striking you. Know you're not going to get your abilities.
Yep. Bye fire. Yeah.
I like it. I think that it's not the strongest in the pod. I think it's probably at the moment it's very situational. Your opponent's going to be playing vehicles. Limit once per turn. If that came in my hand, I can think of a lot of times where I'd be a little disappointed, and even then in an edge stack it's only 1 force pip.
Yeah.
So not convinced. I don't think.
I mean, I don't know. Go ahead, Andy.
I was going to say it is situational, but I think with the new cycle coming out, Rogue Squadron, you're going to get a hell of a lot more vehicles hitting the table.
That's what I was going to say.
That's fair.
And for me, it is just you can play it after they've declared. So this is the killer for me. So yeah, it's an answer to the Falcon, but also if they attack with a blockade runner that you can't block, well, you play this event, put a damage on it, and all of a sudden it can't trigger its abilities. I don't know if that'd work because it might be a passive actually. But no, never mind. I'll shut up.
It fits nicely with Heat of Battle. I think you can warm them up with this and then finish them with the fake card. So I think that's a good synergy. Not that it's in here, but if I was playing Warning Shot, I'd want a few Heat of Battles in the deck as well.
Yep. And we finished it off with a Target of Opportunity. So lots of blast coming through on this set as 2.
Yeah, targets.
I loved it.
Always nice.
So I really like this set. I'm looking forward to making. I think Scum vehicles hasn't been a thing. I mean, we've had a few sets in the past, but they've either been so overpriced or didn't synergize well with anything that it hasn't been a thing. But now we might have some ideas of getting Scum vehicle decks going.
Definitely, I can't wait to play Slave 1 again. See if that works with anything, because its blast damage just gets bigger and bigger every captured unit you've got.
Yep. I think the one thing for me in this set is maybe the Virago. I guess it's pretty cheap. It's only 3. It's only got 1 blast on it. which for me you're kind of relying on the fact that A, it's cheap, and B, it can steal keywords. So without that,
It could be your vehicle force holder though. Sit in the back, and then when you need it, you
That's true.
send it in to deal with someone who's got a keyword.
That's true. That's true. Well, it doesn't even need to be in the engagement to do that, does it? I don't think.
No.
Oh yeah, you could just steal it.
Just steal it. Yoink! You're not shielding. Thanks very much. Quite tasty.
Yeah.
No, I like that pod. I like it. And again, it's a bit like one of the other earlier ones, the Boba pod. It's well rounded, decent main, decent support, a couple of nice events, and an edge card.
Yeah, we're starting to get a lot more choices in the game. I think where for the last couple of cycles, there've always been these are the de facto cards that go in. Now I'm starting to feel that we're getting those choices as to hard decisions as to which pods we really run. With scum at least, I think.
I think it's good to see a new deck archetype coming through in Scum. It's been always Scum control. Now we might get aggro Scum, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think we're finally getting to a stage now where we can build a mono Scum deck?
We've always been able to build mono Scum.
and win with it?
We've always been able to build mono Scum and win with it.
Okay. I'll stop poking the bear.
In Scum we trust.
So we'll move on. Next objective, we're still sticking with the Scum. It's a 5/1. Hunters. The Hunters. Each objective you control gains +1 damage capacity while you control 3 or more Scum objectives. Never a bad thing. Get Jabba's Palace out with that, and the light side just have
your Tatooine crash has just gone up to 8.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
And again, going back to what I said earlier about the slow migration back to mono decks, it feels like for me, another one where you got to be running 3 Scum objectives to benefit from it. But great.
It's a great benefit. Yeah. Card number 2. It's we've actually got a couple of mains in this pod, but card number 2 is Boosh. She's a unique 2 cost, 2 health, 2 force pips, a black objective damage, and a black tactics. So you don't need to worry about the edge so much. Character Black Sun Bounty Hunter. So a lot of keywords to trigger off there. And a reaction after a Scum unit ability captures a unit from play. Has to be from play, so not off the top of a deck. Increase the Death Star dial by 1. Limit once per turn. Boom. Scum love to capture units. She loves to put the Death Star dial up. I keep saying she because we only saw her in the films as Leia. I could easily be wrong. Known for his customised armour, it's a bloke. Sorry, guys.
I was going to say, I remember reading Shadows, and I think she stole the armour for bloke.
Yeah. So, Anton, what are your thoughts on that one?
It just reminds me of Mini Devastator, but for Scum. Not with all the damage, but with the reaction, speeding up the dial, once again, putting pressure on the light side. And I think capture, you're bound to capture a card at some point. So
slightly more situational though.
Yeah,
because you need to be able to use boss. This needs to be a boss capture, or it needs to be a Boba Fett capture. It can't be the captured card from Greedo's pod. It can't be a bounty, for example, put on someone. Exactly. There's a lot of you can even though you're capturing cards from play, it has to be an actual Scum unit that's capturing it. So a little, a niche playstyle has just become a little bit more niche there with adding Boosh into it. So I really need to see the rest of the set before I could make my mind up on this card, I feel.
Yeah, but for me, that ability, it's the ability's trigger is a bit harder to pull off, as you say, Spike, but you don't need the resource like you do with the Devastator. So it just happens, the Death Star dial will go up by 1. And 2 cost for that reaction and a black tactics. I'll take that.
That is good.
I'll take that. But yeah, card 3. This might change your mind, Spike. It's a 3 cost unique character. 2 health still, 2 force pips, unique Snoover. So he's one mean looking Wookiee. His character, Black Sun Bounty Hunter, and a Wookiee. He's got a black unit damage, black objective damage, and a white unit damage. So bringing a bit more hurt to the table. And reaction, after this unit enters play, capture a target unit that does not match its controller's affiliation card. So straight away, it's triggering Bush's reaction. And 2, as we said before, is it forcing people down this route, or at least kind of guiding them down this route of you kind of want to start thinking about these cards that may punish you if you're not running a mono deck.
Yeah.
Because all the top decks from Worlds and the end of last season, they started Scum or started Smuggler and went into Jedi. So all those main Jedi characters that were doing the legwork in those decks, your Yodas, your Lukes, they don't match their affiliation cards, so they're getting captured for free when this unit comes out.
And if people are thinking whether Wookiee Life Debt will work for you on this one as well, the answer is no.
Wookiees.
I'm sure that's crossed some people's minds. If my opponent's playing Wookiee Life Debt, do I gain Protect on this character?
It's each of your Wookiees, isn't it?
Yeah.
Each Wookiee you control, I think it is.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for the day that we get a Darkside Wookiee deck. That'd be brutal.
Well, yeah. Although there weren't many Darkside Wookiees, were there? Because they were all subjugated by the Empire.
You never know.
As we learnt when we heard about Trandoshans on episode 1 of No Disintegration podcast.
Trandoshans. Anton, thoughts on Snoover?
Where we said we want to go down mono affiliation, that gives you some protection, but we're finding now a lot of just decks in general have a lot of non-affiliated units, and I don't think you're going to escape Sanuga. He's going to get you one way or another.
Moving on, card 4. It's a 0 cost event, so we're seeing more and more of these free events coming out. 1 force pip, a better offer. Action, return a target Scum unit to its owner's hands. There's a lot of synergy that can go on here, even just with Snoover that comes in the pod. Play Snoover, capture a unit. You can do chain reaction, just trigger his reaction again, capture another unit. Play a better offer for free, bounce it back to your hand, play Snoover again, capture another unit. And that's just with the character that comes in this pod.
Snoover for days.
Yeah.
Who needs Zekafine to clear your board?
Yeah, exactly. But there's so many combos that this could go off with. It's any Scum unit. So even if you've got people like Zizor who are about to take a hit and die, this is an event. You can do it in any action window. Just return him to your hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great for any character that gets locked down by a heavy amount of tactics. You're just, I'm pulling him back and I'll put him out again.
Yeah. Card number 5. This is probably one of the reasons why Spike's got so many resources against you, Anton. 1 cost event, 1 force pip payout. It's payday. Bounty, limited, so you can only do 1 of these cards a turn. Action, remove 1 focus token from each Scum objective you control. So I know there's a bit of finesse in how you play that card. You can sometimes screw it up and it doesn't pay out as much as you'd hope. But if you do the maths right, it can refresh most of, if not all of your objectives, and off you go again.
Great card, very useful, especially when partnered with cards like Bounty Collection, etc. So really nice, a good staple of a Scum deck, and I'm glad to see that this is the second pod that it's in now. So great.
Yeah. It's just a nice card to be able to, out of nowhere, pay for high cost cards, isn't it? Because it doesn't have to be on your turn, so you can just clear up your objectives, pay for an event that they were never expecting.
Yes.
So, which leads on nicely to card number 6, which I think is going to start changing the way the game is played a little bit. 5 costs, so it's painful. It costs a lot to get out. 3 force pips. So if you can't play it, at least it's useful in an edge battle. Show Force, Black Sun event. Action, put each Black Sun unit from your discard pile into play, if able. At the end of the phase, discard each Black Sun unit you control. That's bonkers. That
instant synergy with the headhunters there.
Yeah, instant. Dare I say it? If you could play that card mid to late game, that's the win button.
Yes.
It costs 5, so yeah, it's got to, you've got to pay for it, and it's going to be hard to get it out when you need it. But we saw it with the creature pod from Jedi. As soon as you can turn your discard pile into your board, that's bonkers.
Yeah. And also good for defending. Let's say you're one dial tick away. You feel your opponent's getting a bit aggressive. Keep those 5 resources open instead of playing units on your turn. And when the conflict phase begins, then that's when you just swamp your board with every unit you've got on your discard pile, defend for that last turn, and get the last tick. So I can think it's obviously a late game card, but and it's very situated. You've got to plan for it. But if you can, we'll change the game.
And
yeah, I think. Sorry, Andy. I think also Scum now. I think the only faction that has access to 2 types of board wipes. So it always plays well with a board wipe if you can clear the deck, and then here you go, have all my units. And it's free for all.
Yeah, it's quite cool. They don't seem to play by the rules in that respect, do they? Just wipe the board. I don't fancy playing this game. Let's play again. It's almost like a gamble, isn't it? The playing to the back, not happy, start again, off you go.
Well, yeah. I mean, Anton, you're right. The synergy with Zeka, for example.
Yeah. And again, it's another little subtle nod to try and maybe run at least, well, if not a mono scum deck, a heavy scum deck, because it's only Black Sun units that come back. So kind of useless if you're running mainly Sith or mainly Imperial.
Yeah.
Nice little pod.
Very nice.
Lots of tricks.
Very nice.
Lots of tricks in there. So Spike, I think you're up with your final pod.
Yeah, this is my final, and I'm really glad you picked this for me, Andy, because this is my favourite of the set as an old school Scum player, even though it's not Scum. So it's a Sith pod, limit 1 per objective deck. It's called the Investigation. Reaction: after this objective is revealed, name a card. When this objective is undamaged, your opponent cannot play a card with that title. So, great. See a Luke Skywalker, see a Yoda. I mean, there's lots of really good examples there. No Falcon for you, whatever it is. You can really, and as a first turn as well. Think of some clutch plays where you can shut down your opponent on their first turn. Like, just obviously you'll be lucky, but there are ways to get around the luck. So, the Get Me Solos pod, for example, the Hunt for Solo, for example, where you look at your opponent's hand when it comes into play. So that objective comes to play. Look at your opponent's hand. Great, you can't play that. I really like it. It synergizes so well with the scum stuff that's already out. Would you agree with that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think there's 3 things for me. 1, it's limit once per objective deck. So you're not guaranteed. It's not always going to come out on the first turn. It might never see the table. 2, it's when it's revealed. So if you don't have something that lets you see what your opponent's playing, like Jabba's orders and all that lot, the Darkside reveals his objectives first. So you're going to have to reveal this only knowing what your opponent's affiliation is.
Yes, correct.
So you might name a card that's not in there.
If it comes out at the beginning, it could come out later in the game.
Yeah, true. And third one, this is probably what gets me most excited. It's the keyword Lusankia. That's the Super Star Destroyer. If we get another Super Star Destroyer in this game, I will.
Amen.
Over 9,000. So yeah, just nerding out there, and that's actually I think that's the Super Star Destroyer that the Rebels ended up pinching. So
there you go. So I love that card. Next up is Yasan Isard. Great name. Even better highlights in her hair. So it's a 4-cost.
That's Rogue,
3 force pip.
It's Rogue from X-Men.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Carrying on the theme of.
It is Disney now, so they can do those cross promotions.
That's true.
So 4-cost, 3 force pip, 3 health. Lovely icons, and a 1 resource as well. Cool character officer reaction. After an opponent plays a copy by title of a captured unit or enhancement, reveal that captured card to return the just played card to its owner's hand. So again, synergizing really nicely with the old school Scum capture decks. you've got something, you've got Luke under there, you've got the Falcon under there, your opponent tries to play it, denied, send it back, and all you got to do is reveal that card. So really, really nice. Question to you, Andy: if you've already revealed Luke, for example, you've already triggered that reaction. Can you trigger it again the next turn when he tries to play Luke? Is Luke then locked out until that captured card's done, or because it's not revealed, can you not trigger it?
I think so if you reveal it for the first time and then when you shove it back under Tatooine Crash, for example, I don't think you put it up face up. So I think
fair enough.
Keep revealing it, I think.
So just you better rescue Luke or you're shit out of luck.
Yeah, basically, not to put too.
And some people running 4 Yodas in their decks, for example.
Yeah.
Some people are really relying, and now we've got what? How many Lukes have we got in the game? We've got 3, almost 4 Lukes coming up in the game.
Yep.
Some people could really rely on one character, and this is a great card to deal with that. Anton?
Yeah, I think also for any decks that we're thinking of mains, but also the like when you get down to speeder decks and stuff like that, if you can knock out some of those type of units, it's really good. But I've been wanting this for capture decks for a while. I wanted to use the idea that you've captured something, you can't get that person back, and you can't play it, and that this card gives it to you. So I really like that.
You just want to shred the card. Once you capture it, just put it in the shredder. See ya.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're starting to warm up, but this is the card now for me that makes this pod. And you'll be like, whoa, dude, why? It's only a neutral 2 cost, but it's 2 cost neutral Imperial Intelligence Officer, 1 health, 1 Black Blaster, 1 White Tactics, fine icons, fine cost, reaction. After this unit enters play, look at your opponent's hand. That is so useful. It's going to help you with that. The objective we just looked at. It's going to help you with Get Me Solo. It's going to help you. I mean, it's a really great card that's just going to help lubricate those capture decks for Scum using the cards we already have. There's 2 of them in the pod, and it's just, I think it's a godsend being able to see your opponent's hand. One, because you can, if you've got a good enough memory, you can remember how many edge pips they have. I admit, in the heat of the moment, that doesn't always work. But you also, what's coming up. You know what you got to deal with, and more importantly, Get Me Solo. Take those cards that you need from him. They combo really well with it. I love them.
Yeah, the information is always critical. Whether it's you're using it to capture a card, like say, or using it to decide whether you want to win an edge battle or even can win an edge battle. It's even without that reaction, 2 cost, 1 health for a tactics icon. That's pretty decent. With that reaction, like you say, 2 of them, love it.
The only other thing I have to add to that is it's got a nice officer trait, and there are things coming up in the game that will react with that too.
Anton.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler. The next card is it's another Rhodian getting a hard time. It's Confiscation, and looks like it's gonna be a full probe there.
Yeah, it doesn't look happy, does it?
It's got to look at his eye. That Rhodian's got to look at his eye. Like, turn that camera off. Get that camera out of my face. This isn't a real stormtrooper. This guy's not a stormtrooper. Help!
Yeah, that armor is not going to be wide for much longer.
So, Confiscation. It is a 0 cost event, another 0 cost event, 2 force pips. So enhancement. Sorry, 2 force pip enhancement. It's a condition. I can't remember seeing conditions before, but maybe they have been in the game before.
There were the force power ones like anger.
Okay.
Like that, yeah.
Enhance an enemy character unit. Action: capture a light side card attached to enhanced unit. So Luke's lightsaber, great example. Thank you very much, mate. You are not allowed that. That's a lightsaber. That is not allowed. I don't know how you came by that, but you're not allowed that. And if you don't give it up, we're going to give you the treatment that Rodian got, and he was not happy. So that's great. Good enhancement. I mean, it's enhancement, so you can only play enhancements on your own go. Is that right, Andy?
Yes, you can't do it.
Unless you have Jabba the Hutt, who has, you can focus him to play an enhancement. So Jabba's the only way I can think of to get around the enhancements on your own go caveat. Yeah.
But it's a decent.
It's also an action as well,
Mm-hmm.
so you can do this multiple times. Well, not every time, but each turn. they've left that on there. You can it basically, like you're saying, you're denying any enhancements on this one character. So
Ah, well spotted. Very good. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just-
So it's not. Don't just use it once. It is a. Yeah, that guy's got to empty his pockets.
Yeah, if it's the Yoda that gets more powerful, the more enhancements he's got on him. If he's got 4 or 5 enhancements on, which is not unheard of, I say it's not.
But by putting this on him, you're going to power him up.
Yeah, once, but I'd rather have 1 than 5. And then, as you say, it's just an action. It's not limit once per turn. It doesn't cost you a resource. You just go action window, capture an enhancement. Anything from you? No. Okay, another action window, capture an enhancement. And they just turn him upside down and shake until everything drops out. It's good.
So the last card in the pod is the Official Inquiry. 1 cost, 1 force pip. It's a Sith event. Action: look at the top 3 cards of opponent's deck, capture one of those cards, and place the others back on the top in any order. So it's Zuckuss's ability, and it's an event. Really nice, especially when your opponent's got 5 cards in his hand. Let's say you've already looked at his hand with the Imperial Intelligence Officers. You can then you can control what the next card he has is from the top of his deck. Playing this with Zuckuss, for example, I think would be really lovely. This set I can't wait to try with some of the old capture stuff, like I've mentioned. But throwing this in as well just gives you a really nice way to control what cards your opponent's drawing into, which can be very frustrating for him. So a great event, I think.
Yeah.
I think one set that comes to my mind, and it is actually a Sith set that you've talked about in the past, Spike, but I can't remember it. It's got the probe droids in it.
Oh, the probulator on it at the front.
Yeah.
The
Cruel Interrogations, is that?
Cruel Interrogations.
That's it, yeah. You can, I think, with this set and that, you can really screw the light side's first turn even worse.
Yeah. Turn up the heat. I mean, are we starting to get to the point where we might be decking people soon? I mean, Tatooine Crash, this, Zuckuss. I mean, obviously we're a long way off because the decks are big and there's no limit to the objectives. But it's not nice when you're capturing a lot of cards and powering up your units like Slave One or Jabba's Jabba's orders, giving yourself Jabba's Palace, giving yourself more health or increasing your reserve value. I mean, lovely, nice to see a capture card. Very happy.
I think the only thing for me on this is it's a Sith pod that combos so well with most of the scum pods that we've got, and we've seen that. Do you want to be running dual affiliations? It's giving you a tough decision to make. You can run mono and get all the benefits there, or you can run this and it's got great events in it that combo really well. So it's a tough choice.
Yeah.
Tough choice.
What about the neutral pod? The rumors at the cantina. You could run mono scum. You could run mono scum rumors, which is sort of scum feeling because the cantina could be Mos Eisley cantina.
True.
And throw in this pod. I mean, it's it's obviously not going to work, but just starting to think a little bit that there are ways to get around that.
Well, I'm used to doing this type of thing, and if you look at the set, there's only 2 cards that require actual Sith resource.
Yeah.
That's
you're right. Yeah.
Yazan and the event. The rest of it can
and the enhancement
free or neutral. Yeah.
Well, the enhancement's free.
So, yep. So the
You're right.
enhancement's free. Yep. So I'd be happy to tack this on as like an 11th pod in a scum deck. And
What about endless reserves?
Can help, but it doesn't give you the Sith. The Sith.
No, but it'll get you in official inquiry out. No.
You'll get your official inquiry out.
Yes.
I think for me, it's still, even without that, I'd still run it in a 10 pod, 9 pod scum deck, because like you say, Anton, the only cards you're not going to get out is official inquiry, which if that means I can get the Imperial officers out instead, I'll take that. And Izane, she's a great edge card if I don't have the Sith resource to pay for it. So. And
remember, Zizor's objective allows you to cycle too, so you could even start to try and fish for it.
Yep. Yeah.
Interesting. The mind is boggling.
It's given us, like I say, choices, some difficult choices to make when deck building, which is great because it means you're not just going to run up against Scum Sith. Oh, same again. Come on, Vader, let's see what you've got this time. So, and last pod, I think Anton, you're taking this one away as our resident Imperial Trooper legend.
Yeah. Right, this one's Family Connections. I think a lot of the community's been looking forward to this. It's a 5/1 Navy objective, It's got a great reaction. After you refresh, place 1 shield on each trooper unit you control. I think pretty basic what we're going to do with this set is run a trooper deck.
Yeah, and it's not just once, it's every refresh phase. And it's not whilst undamaged.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's really very nice.
And you can have 2 of them. So obviously you won't want 2 out at the same time, but
Well, you can't have 2 shields on a unit, but yeah.
no. But if you lose it, you might be able to get 1 back. So it's good there. Right, I'll move on to the next card. We've got General Tug. I think I remember this guy in the film.
He's in there, yeah.
Yeah.
The dude with no arms. I remember him.
The dude with no arms. Which scene, Anton?
I think he's part of the sitting around Grand Moff Tarkin's table.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. He's not the dude that gets choked, is he?
No, it's not.
No, he's got sideburns. I remember that.
Yeah. Anyway, he's a 3 cost, 3 health, 2 force pip, 2 blast damage. Ooh, love my Imperials with their blast damage. It's a character officer, and when a trooper unit you control with a printed cost of 2 or lower would leave play, return it to its owner's hand instead.
Lovely.
Thank you, Espo Troopers.
And it's not limit once per turn either.
Nope.
Oh.
Just 3.
But it's not forced because I'm just worried that you might get a gummed up hand with you might get too much of a gummed up hand, but like great ability.
Yeah, pick and choose. If you have got a bunged up hand, choose not to activate the interrupt.
Yeah.
I think it's also good because Navy sometimes struggle with the edge battle, so if you can get those back into your hand, you can follow up with some more engagements and just use your troopers up for that instead.
Yeah. Really cool.
Right. The next 2 cards are the Security Task Force. 2 cost, 2 health. It's an Imperial unit. Only has 1 blast damage, but it's a character trooper. It's got a great trait, It's got Protect Trooper.
Cool.
Bonkers.
Yeah.
Protect himself.
Yeah, I think Navy haven't had much Protect, and now they got Protect Trooper, so it just synergizes well with troopers all across the board.
Except these guys aren't wearing armor, although Stormtrooper armor is notoriously bad, as the Ewoks will tell you, because they cut through it like butter with a burn arrow. But you'd expect these guys to have a bit more armor on them, wouldn't you?
Just head down and charge. Look at the size of that helmet. That's ridiculous.
I think the most dangerous thing in this picture is they got to be careful of that handrail.
Yeah,
handrails haven't been good.
Well, they're lucky. They've been given a handrail because those Death Star gunners they don't get a handrail.
That's true. The health and safety on the Death Star too.
The next card, and it's a really interesting card. It's a 1 cost enhancement. It's called Imperial Discipline, and enhance your player reaction after a trooper unit you control leaves play. Your opponent must deal 1 damage to an objective he controls.
Ooh.
Limit 3 times per phase.
So they've limited it, but they limited it 3 damage per phase.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be on your turn and your opponent's turn. So yeah, that's lovely, especially when you're playing cheap troopers.
Yeah.
And they're coming back to your hand.
Yeah.
It says skill. Is that I don't know. I was wrong the last time, so I might be wrong again. But I don't remember seeing skill before either.
I think the
lightsaber forms.
Yeah, they may be skills.
They are skills, are they?
They'll be the only ones, I think.
Interesting. Okay. Cool.
What interests me with this is it's not limit 3 times per turn; it's per phase. So there are ways to sort of suddenly trigger these. We've got 6 phases to play with each turn. This could get really
you could force choke. Messy. You could force choke your own Espo troopers. Deal a damage with Vader. Kill your own Espo trooper. Put a damage on one of their units, and then get an extra damage on an objective.
Yeah, and the Espo trooper goes back to your hand. You can play it for free.
Then, when you've attacked with your trooper and done a damage, you then force lightning your trooper who's focused, killing him. Putting it back to your hand, but also doing a further damage to an objective. So, wow, that damage is gonna tick up. Could tick up pretty quickly if you're smart and you know what you're doing.
Or while you got an orbital bombardment out.
Oh God.
Yeah. Or what's his name? Tarkin, -1 damage to each of their
Tarkin, yeah.
objectives.
Yeah, there's been lots of talk about this set, and everyone's been buzzing about this because I think everyone wanted to see troopers, want to see Navy excel at something, and this looks like the set that's going to do it for them.
That is a great card.
Yeah. And it doubles up as well, so you get 2 of them out. It's even more dangerous.
Does the limit 3 per phase? That sounds like a hard limit though?
It would be,
So if he had-
but like
he
each
had two-
enhancement would do. You'd be doing 2 damage each time a trooper leaves play, basically.
Yes. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So
How can
last
Lightside deal with it and get rid of enhancements?
Rebel Winter set
Yeah.
can do it. I
Interesting.
think. Yeah.
Interesting.
Not that I've played it much. And the last card, lovely art on this. It's Precision Fire. It's a 1-cost event with 2 force pips, and it's until the end of an engagement, each trooper unit you control gains targeted strike. Forced reaction. After this unit revolves the strike, discard it. So it synergizes with Targ. If you get some of the the big stormtroopers out, like the one in Tarkin set, there's four blasters.
Mm.
Is it in Tarkin set? No. No, it's
Oh,
not.
The elite
the 501st.
The Sith,
501st.
That's a Sith one.
Get another pod it synergizes with. Get that on those guys. You're targeting striking some serious damage there.
I've never seen a stormtrooper hit precisely though, so
Yeah,
bit confused. A bit confused by the card. That's why they faint and die afterwards after confusion. Great. Well, that is a great pod, and all the stuff that we've looked at so far is, I mean, it's
Great,
amazing.
Great cards, aren't they? I mean, that one, a lot of the ones we've seen, we've talked about how it synergizes with this pod, with that pod, and you could see it floating around in different decks. This one just does one thing very well.
Yeah.
So it's opened up a new deck type, is what this pod has done. I don't know if it's necessarily my favourite of the lot of the expansion, but I mean.
So that's a good question. What is your favourite, Andy? What's been your favourite so far?
What do I like? I like Boosh and
You have to choose one. You have to choose one
pod. I like Boosh and Snoover. I think the 2 little bounty hunters go around together trying to get the job done. That, I think, for me, it's a bit more flavourful. I don't know whether All Out Brawl as well has got quite a lot of tricks, but no, I'll stick with Boosh and Snoover.
Anton, what's been your favourite?
I want to say this Navy set because it's just like an old favourite of mine. It appeals to the heart and everything.
Any excuse to get the Espos out?
Yeah, still kind of my Espos. But is it going to be a set that makes them competitive? And I know this game isn't always about being competitive, but a lot of people will, in the competitive environment, will say, like, will this bring Navy back into the fold? And at the moment, one thing that happens with these deluxe expansions, you get so many cards at once. It's really hard to get your head around all of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite easier doing it when you've got the individual force packs coming out. You can sort of like work out a bit easier, but got so much at once. And there's so much to deal with. So I'm actually going to pick Sizel's set because it's just got lots of tricks. It makes me want to play Scum a lot more.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick that set. It's my favourite.
I think Zizor's set's lovely. I mean, I'm going to have to say, I'm going to have to stick to hardcore Scum here, and I'm going to say my favourite set's No Disintegrations.
Good man.
Yeah, I think that firstly, I love the artwork. It's absolutely beautiful on the objective card. Great to see Bobber's back in business. Just a great solid set that really epitomizes for me, good solid Scum set, and I love it that it's the first one. I love it's the first one we've talked about, and really looking forward to playing it. No, as you wish.
But I mean, probably a great segue there to finish up the cast, guys. No Disintegrations, Spike's favourite pod, but also this, as we mentioned at the beginning, this is kind of an additional little bit of the cast to the No Disintegrations podcast that we're all a part of here in the UK, and so this is us taking one of those segments and taking it a bit further, a bit of deeper discussion, and giving you guys some visual content as well to get you a feast for the eyes. So if you haven't already, go to the Facebook No Disintegrations page, and we've got each of our Twitter handles below our window, and No Disintegrations over by the little sexy HD Obi-Wan mission briefing there. So any final shout outs from you guys? Thanks for coming on. Another video, always a pleasure to have you both. Anton?
Thank you, FFG, for giving us a lovely set. It's we've all been waiting for it.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they couldn't have got us more excited for any other set.
No, the juices have been flowing for a while, so it's nice to finally get our hands on it.
I'd say check out some of the earlier Philly Ops videos if you're looking to get into the game. Andy's done a fantastic job of breaking down competitive matches. So super awesome resource. Check us out, No Disintegrations, and most importantly, enjoy the game.
Yeah, keep playing, guys. Let us know how you get on with your pods and whether you agreed or disagreed with what we talked about here. But join us on the next video, where we'll no doubt be talking about the light side pods. I know there's some beasts in there. So catch you next time, guys, and thanks for watching.